Hi, today we're going to be doing 3-1% problems. We're going to be using the proportion method today, and then later this week we're going to use the equation method. So if your parents say, I do these problems and I do them completely different, that's fine, as long as you're showing work. This is one strategy of doing them. Let me go ahead and zoom in just a little bit. Go ahead and copy down 11, 12, and 13. And this is what we call a template that we're going to fill into. Notice there's always 100 on the bottom right. So I filled in that template for a proportion with 100 on the bottom right. Copy that now, pause your video if needed. And let's go ahead and get started. Remember that percents, the word percent means per 100, for 100. So 20% means 20 for every 100. So that's the number you're going to fill in first on all of these, is whatever the percent is, it goes over the 100. The 80 goes over the 100. 3 out of 5 is what percent? What percent is my unknown? So this would be an X. So here the 20 goes over 100. Percents are for 100. 80 for 100 and an unknown for 100. Next, we're going to do is decide whether our X is on the top or the bottom here. So this says, what is 20% of 48? The 48 is our whole. So that goes down here. What is 20%? What is the part that would be the 20% of the 48? So the of is our whole. It goes down here. Ofs go on the bottom. Before you start placing the numbers, make sure you've done the percent first. Let's compare that to this one. Here it says the 40 is the 80%. So the is the part that is the 80%. So in this case, the 40 goes on the top. So they go in a different location. If it's the whole or an of, it goes on the bottom. If it's an is or the part, it goes on the top. Someone's at my door, it appears. Let's look out here. This is 3 out of 5. So what makes sense as being the part and the whole? Well, the part I got right was 3 out of 5. So this is the number I got correct, which is the part I got correct out of the whole of 5. Our unknown is always just going to be an X. And notice the X is in a different spot every time. I'm sorry, I'm getting a text in from my daughter. So here it's on the top left. Here it's on the bottom left. Here it's on the top right. It's going to move to a different location depending on what is unknown. Here we were looking for the part that is the 20% of the 48. Here we're looking for what is the whole if 40 is the 80%. And here we're looking for the percent. So that X is going to go in a different spot. You got to pause at the beginning and really pay attention to where you're at. Let's go ahead and cross multiply and divide in order to solve all of those. We've practiced cross multiplying several times before. So this is 48 times 100 equals 100x. I'm going to multiply those two numbers together. I did that earlier so that it would speed things up on a calculator. And then in order to work backwards to figure out what this number would be, I'm going to use the inverse operation and divide. So 9.960 divided by 100 is 9.6 would be my unknown. Those just cancel out or form my equivalence of 1. Let's go ahead and do this one. So again, I like to multiply the two numbers that are given first. Doesn't matter, it's just my habit. So 40 times 100, 80 times x. So this is 4,000, and this is 80x. And we would divide by the number next to the x. So this done on a calculator is 50. So let's talk about these two for a second before we go on to the last one. So let's see if that makes sense. 9.6 is 20% of 48. That seems to make sense. 40 is 80% of 50. That makes sense because 80% is the 40 is the part of this bigger number. And now let's do the last one. 3. I don't know why I'm using blue. I'm red. I should be using blue. So this is 300 equals 5x. Divide by 5. Divide by 5. And I believe this is 60. Now, this 60 is a percent, so I need to label that as 60%. Okay, this is a number, this is a number, but this is a percent. Let's kind of look at a graphic of this. And then also, this is the worksheets that I work for to keep my handwriting more organized. So if 48 is the whole and it compares to 100, we're looking for this number here that would compare to 20. So 48 is related to 100 in the same way that 9.6 would be related to 20. Here, 40 relates to 80 the same way that 50 relates to 100. Doubled, doubled. Here, 5 relates to 100 in the same way that 3 relates to 60. This is my whole in terms of percents. This is my whole in terms of numbers. Next time when we meet, we'll be looking the second method, which is the equation method. Some of your parents might do it this way. That's okay. But for today, I'd like you to try this cross multiplying method so that you have some experience at it, because some problems are easier to do different ways. Please stop and replay as needed. Remember, I go fast, but you can pause and replay as many times as you need. The big important thing is that you realize that X can be in the top, the bottom, or even the right, depending on what part is missing.